Oops. Okay, so what we're doing today is we are working on section 6.2. And this is solving substitution, solving systems using substitution. We've already learned how to graph, and with graphing, a no solution is when they are parallel, or a one solution is when two lines cross, okay? And you get two answers, so you end up with an X and Y. So we'll solve and actually get two answers. A no solution, an infinite solution. Again, no solution is the symbol, infinite solution is the R. So no solution is when you had parallel lines, they never intersect. And an infinite solution is when you had one line and it was on top of the other, and so you only saw one line. So for both of these, they are just like when we had no solution and infinite solution for just one step, one equation, equations with one variable. And so for both of these, the variables are gone. They cross off. And remember, a no solution is a false statement. So you're going to get something like 3 equals 5. Well, 3 is never going to equal 5, so it's false, and so it's no solution. Infinite solution is going to be a true solution, something where 3 equals 3, and that's true. Okay, substitution method is helpful sometimes. There's 3 methods we're going to learn, and you're going to choose which one you like to use, and I want you to be able to use it each method anytime or when it comes to different things. So substitution method, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose an equation and solve for the variable. And the hint is that you want to have something with a coefficient of 1. So what that means is you want to make something an x equals equation or a y equals equation. You don't want anything else around. You just want an x on the left or just a y on the left. And then what you do is you're going to take that and you're going to plug it in. So what will happen is we'll have an x equals and we're going to circle that. Or you're going to have a y equals and we're going to circle that. That's kind of the strategy. And the circle is there for 2 reasons. And when we do a couple problems, you'll see why I have it there. Okay, so when we look at number 1, I have 2 equations, and again, you want one of them to be an x equals or y equals. Well, this one is right here. So I'm going to circle this. And what I do is I take what is circled, highlight it yellow. I take what is circled and I plug it in for y. So I'm substituting it in for y. So I'm going to start off by writing the equation. And then instead of y, I'm going to write what was circled. Okay, and so now that tends to be the hardest step. This is the step where I see mistakes. I don't really see many mistakes on the other places. Sometimes I see little integer things, but not much. One thing you should notice, I should have only x's or only y's. If you get to this step and you have an x and a y, that means you made a mistake. Okay, so I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to get negative 3x minus 6x minus 4 is 23. I'm going to combine my terms. I'm going to add 4 on both sides, so I get 27. And I'm going to divide both sides, and I'm going to get negative 3. So I just found my first answer. Now, the second reason I circled something is because I take this and I plug it into the circle. And so having it circled helps me know where I'm going to have to plug it in. So it's going to be negative 3 times what I just found, which happens to be negative 3 minus 2. So negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9 minus 2, and 9 minus 2 is 7. So that's my second answer. So again, I circled something that was alone. It was either an x equals or y equals, and I take that and I plug it into the other equation. Then I distribute and solve, and then I draw my arrow and go back up to my circled equation. Okay, let's look at number 2. So again, you want to circle something that's an x equals or a y equals. And look, this one's an x equals, so I'm going to circle this. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug it in here. So you notice I'm writing the rest of the equation, but instead of x, I'm leaving some space. And the thing that's going in there is what I circled. So now you're going to distribute. Bring the y down. This is 3y minus 1y, which is 2y. I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and so I'm going to get 12. And I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides, and so I get 6. So I just found the y answer, which is the second answer. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to plug it into my circle. And so it's going to be 6 minus 2, which is 4. Okay. So substitution isn't that hard, it's just the first step. And so you want to make sure that you have something easy to make that first step easier. And so you want to have it in x equals or y equals. So this part right here, this is super important. Let's highlight this a different color. Oh, let's do blue. So this is super important. You want either x equals or a y equals, and you want to circle it. Okay? You can't circle it unless it's by itself. It will not work. All right, now, I know many of you don't like word problems, but we're going to have them, so we got to get used to them. So let's look at this one. Okay, so Harborview Elementary is selling tickets to a fall fundraiser. Okay. Adult tickets cost $3 more than students. So that's the first statement we have. Adult tickets cost $3 more than students. Okay, well, let's just write that. Adults equals $3 more than students. And that's it. So adult tickets we're using as an A, and student we're using as an S. Okay, let's look at the next equation. And I'm going to highlight this so we know that's where the first equation came from. Okay, let's look at the next statement. The next statement says, on the first day of sales, they made $95. I'm missing a word. I'm missing the word selling. Big typo. Your paper's probably going to be okay because I'll go and edit it right now. So they made $95 selling 3 student and 10 adults. Okay, so they got $95 by selling 3 students and 10 adults. And that's it. So a lot of these equations are not as hard to solve or to set up as you may think. Okay, and so that was the yellow one. Okay, so now let's look at our steps. Our first step is to get an x or y equals. Well, we have a and s. So I'm going to circle this. Oops, red. And so I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug it into my next equation for a. Okay, I would like you guys to try and solve this problem. And when you think you have it, go ahead and press play so you can check your work. So you should have had 95 equals 3s plus 10 times, and then parentheses. And the thing you're putting in the parentheses is 3 plus s. So we're going to distribute. And we're going to get 30. So I don't like writing s's because sometimes they look like 5s. Plus 10s. I can combine my terms and I'm going to get 13s plus 30. And I'm going to subtract 30 on both sides, so I get 65 is 13s. So that means s is 5. So that means student tickets are $5. Now, just like we did before, we're going to take this answer and we're going to plug it into the circle. And so 3 plus 5 is 8. So that tells me adult tickets are $8. So it's not super challenging, but you just have to have confidence in being able to write the equation, and then you circle and you plug in.